Employee surveys have become a staple in modern business. They're essentially a tool that we can use to gather information between customers, employees, and it fosters communication between staff and management. Nowadays, there's a lot of websites, programs, or other AI systems that businesses can use to really monitor what people are saying. Oftentimes, we send surveys in bulk to employees, and we often ask our customers a couple days after purchasing something what they think about the product. But throughout my years of experience, I've noticed that the true strength of surveys comes after you get the results. It happens pretty often that the crucial follow-up process is not implemented. And that is where the actual potential for change lies. It's on the follow-up, not so much on the results. It often feels to me that surveys are just another check in the box for corporations to say, oh yeah, we got our employee input. Great, you got the input, but what do you do with that input? In a business or a corporation, you focus a lot on your KPIs. You focus on the quantitative aspect of your jobs. Anything with numbers is validated. It makes sense. The data's there. But when it comes to surveys that include opinions, personal impact, human emotion, they're probably neglected or they're not prioritized. And why is that? Well, because oftentimes it's a pretty big beast to tame. Normal business principles don't apply very well when it comes to human emotions. It needs a different type of approach. So let's dive into that. One of the biggest challenges in enacting change based on surveys, it's the disconnect of different levels in the hierarchy that is business. You have management and employees, or between a company and its customers. This gap or differences will often lead to miscommunication and sometimes disengagement from both parties. The results of this is probably a decline in productivity and satisfaction. For example, employees can feel unheard and undervalued if their concerns are not addressed. Then you have customers who they'll just drift away if their feedback isn't appreciated or taken into consideration. And in business and honestly in life, these types of emotional challenges go beyond the SOPs, the protocols. They're more difficult to actually solve. Two engines with the exact same problem are going to have the exact same solution. There's only one method to fix that type of repair. Two humans with the same problem, you can't fix it the same way. Not often. People come with different life experiences, different tempers, and different types of patience. The resolution to many survey results revolve around human behavior. When these voices aren't heard, the entire operation can suffer, and it leads to higher turnover rates, poor customer retention, and a tarnished brand reputation. But what makes surveys so great to begin with? Well, surveys serve as a bridge to connect frontline workers with their management or companies with their customers. The more often you conduct surveys, the better insight management and the business has on employee morale, valuable insights from the actual people who are doing the work and the needs of the workforce. So this can actually really help the employees because it boosts engagement and it helps identify areas that need improvement. For example, an employee survey could reveal that some workers are overworked and they just feel like they have an excessive amount of workload and they can't properly finish their tasks because of this. So in the business world, that should be a red flag and say, okay, now that we have this understanding from the surveys, we need to make an informed decision. You either redistribute tasks or you clarify objectives or maybe you hire more personnel. So what's the result of this? Well, happier people, right? You're going to have a happier frontline workers, which means that at the end of the day, your customer is going to be happier from that as well. So let's say, for example, that there's a company that is facing a high turnover rate. The management has no idea what they're doing wrong. As always, management thinks that they do everything right and the frontline workers think that the management is everything wrong. So management says, okay, we're going to go send out some surveys and we're going to get insight from the actual people doing the job. Well, maybe it turns out that people are leaving because there's no career development. They feel that the knowledge they get ends in their job. They're not going and learning anything beyond that. And maybe they just feel a little bit of disconnect from the company's mission. It's there, but it's not really followed and it doesn't feel important. It doesn't feel like a family. So the company implements development plans that the employees can follow and they put like leadership trainings, they put different types of communication with different departments. They hold meetings every week to give updates to everybody in the company. That way everybody feels welcomed. And this really aligns the company's vision with the employees' goals because they're communicating that to them every week. And the result, and hopefully, would be that turnover decreases. And let's also be real and consider that not every employee is going to find this as the perfect solution. Some employees will say that that's not enough. They want more than that. Some employees will say, that's too much. I want less than that. Honestly, the goal here is just to appeal to the masses because you're not going to make everybody happy. You can only show that you're trying your best and that you're implementing the changes that you feel will bring the best benefit to the whole company. But what about customer surveys? That's a little bit different. These provide direct feedback on what's working and what isn't from the customer's perspective. Businesses can leverage this type of information to understand the needs, the preferences, and essentially the pain points that the customers are having. For example, maybe if you work in retail, you might use a survey to discover that customers find a website is too difficult to navigate. The company can take this feedback, adjust, and they can probably see their sales increase and higher customer loyalty. I know I have stopped using services if the website is just so hard to navigate through. I'm that type of person that'll be like, all right, I'm done. I just close the tab and look for another one. And this could be something as simple as the checkout process, right? Maybe there's something that's happening when the customer is checking out and it's too lengthy, it's too confusing, it's asking you for too much info, it's forcing you to subscribe, it's forcing you to put your email, your phone number, all this stuff. I'm not a fan of that. There's some websites that actually force you and make you create an account before you check out, and sometimes I just want to check out as a guest. So as a company putting on surveys and asking the customer what they feel about these types of implementations can go a long way because it's going to increase your sales and increase your customer retention. And let's talk about the most important part of surveys is that they have to be continuous improvement plans. Surveys should not be a one-time effort, meaning that every time you do a survey, that's it. You just grab the input, you put it on an Excel, you show it on a Power BI, and then that's it. No, it's a continuous feedback loop for the organization. It's something that you adapt and you improve on real time. For a business, this could mean that you revisit that survey and you make sure that you put maybe updates on the task and where you're at to make the changes that need to be made. This allows you to remain agile and adjust quickly as those types of goals change and you start checking off those boxes. Okay, the employees wanted better development plans, we got that. What's next? The goal here is to create a culture where that feedback is actually given to them regularly outside of surveys, and it's something that the employees feel is a positive thing, something that they positively look out for because of the good types of changes that are being made. So let's say that, for example, a company has an app, right? And they do these customer satisfaction surveys. And maybe they noticed that a lot of customers were saying that the app was clunky and it was pretty slow. So instead of saying, okay, let's wait and get some more feedback, they end it there and they redesign the app or they fix the bugs before it goes out to more customers. So what does this do? This makes the new customers come in happier, and it gets those customers who had put in the initial complaint to look back and say, wow, this company really acted on my voice. It actually helps that I'm bringing up these concerns and that I'm raising my hand. And the reason why this continuous feedback loop with surveys is so important is because we as humans, our emotions would change throughout time. And we might even write a 1-star review from how upset that made us. But if the company changes without us having to keep pushing, if they just put a patch or something, an update that says that they fixed it, and they say, hey, here's 30 days free, hey, here's the free app or whatever, here's a discount, then you as a customer could say, okay, I feel validated now. It's been 2 weeks. I'm not angry about that anymore. And I'm actually kind of happy that they fixed it. I'm willing to go back. And when it comes to employees, this types of feedback loop where you go back and you say, okay, this is the process that I'm in. I've already fixed this. I've already created the development plan. I've already done a weekly meeting with the entire team so that we can go over goals and visions. These types of follow-ups allow you to patch holes because on the next survey that you send out, those errors, that feedback that you get is going to be specific to that time. You're no longer going to have feedback that was given to you a year ago. And that's what you want. You want new types of issues to be brought up on the table. You don't want the same thing from a year ago, from 6 months ago, from a quarter ago to be put again on the surveys. That's the importance of the feedback loop. Going in and actually fixing those things and then going back and asking to see where it's at or if they feel it got even worse or better. That is what makes a business excel. That is what makes you as a manager and as a leader really shine, by going back and looking at that type of information and ensuring that it actually got resolved. So the feedback loop isn't just another survey after that. Once you send out your initial survey and then you do a follow-up survey, maybe like 2 months, 3 months later, in theory, if you made some progress, they should have new ideas going in there. And that, what does that do? That evolves the business, that evolves the management, that evolves the team, the operation. It makes it flow better because you're tweaking over and over again until you get as close to perfection as possible. And that's the power of continuous improvement across the board. This isn't just for surveys, but I think that I really want to hit it on surveys Because oftentimes, like I said earlier, it just feels like a check in the box. Okay, yeah, everybody hates the app. Okay, yeah, everybody hates our system we use to put our absences. Oh yeah, everybody hates that payroll is always late. Everybody hates this, everybody hates that. But there's nothing done to actually resolve those issues. So when the survey comes out again and you get the same exact issues you had 4 months ago, what does that say about the management? What does that say about the leadership? Probably not good things, right? It's showing that you don't care. And imagine you being an employee and having to put the same thing over and over and over again. What does that say to you? Probably that you feel like you're not being listened to. So honestly, surveys are just more than a tool for gathering opinions. It's literally a catalyst for transformation. If you as a manager, leader, or business owner actively seek feedback, you will create a culture of continuous improvement. It's that easy. Employees are going to feel that their voices are actually valued and they're heard, and customers will remain loyal because they see you taking your position seriously. This creates what? This creates, again, a feedback loop that's positive. You don't want a negative feedback loop where everything's just snowballing out of control. No, you want it to be positive. Communication is more open, people are happier, organization becomes more aligned with its people, the vision, and the goal of the entire business. So make sure you start putting surveys as one of the top things you should do as a manager or leader. Seize those opportunities to improve and to grow the operation. Remember that surveys are essentially a bridge and they gap the difference between where you want to be and where you are. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.